Hello, guys. Welcome to Landing America podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I decided to invite my friend ALESYA Negodina to talk about her immigration story. ALESYA is from Russia. She moved to the United States in 2012. She is now a spiritual coach, and she received her a green card through the marriage. Welcome, ALESYA.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. So, ALESYA, let's start from the very beginning. Where were you born? Tell us a little bit about your background, family, education.
Sure. I was born in far east of Russia. I was growing in that environment, very cold environment, not just weather, but people as well. I never felt comfortable there. I was thinking like, why I was born here? All these people, this weather, And it was also a lot of violence. It was crime, 90s in Russia was not the best time. And since a young girl, I wanted to move from Russia. I wanted to go and explore the world. My parents got divorced when I was 7 years old, and my mom left to South Korea, and my father was working as a seaman, so he was traveling the world. And as a young girl, I saw my mom leaving to the other country, my father traveling, and it gave me even more desire to go and explore what is there. But I had to study, of course. They want me to get degree. I was visiting my mom since I was 12 years old. I was visiting her in South Korea. She was living. And I remember my first experience with new culture, with new food, new language. It was so exciting, It was like, wow, it's possible. People speak different language. The streets are very clean and nice, everything for people. The food is delicious. So it was pretty interesting. First time seeing something new, right? And then I was studying political science in the University of Far East of Russia. After first year, I realized this is not what I want to study. Me and politics, it's very different things. So I turned 18 years old, and I said, okay, now I can leave the country without the permission from my parents. Okay. Let me try this, and let me go and explore the world. So I was thinking that I'm gonna travel a little bit and then I come back and, I finish my university. Never happened, by the way. So, 18 years old, I left to Moscow. By the way, my city is close to Vladivostok. It's 9 hours fly from Moscow.
Wow.
Super far away. So here I am, 18 years old girl, flying to Moscow by myself. Surprised by the size of the city and people and this energy. And from there, with my friend, we went to Spain. We went on the buses. It took us 3 days.
Wow.
It was fun, very fun experience. From there, I don't remember from where we flew to Madrid, I think was it. So the Spain was, for me, was like, wow. The food, the climate, the beauty, happy people, right? They're more joyful, more uplifting. And it was pretty amazing. I really loved it. I was about to come back to Russia, but my aunt, she went to Dominican Republic from Far East of Russia. She went for 3 months to Dominican Republic, but then she said, I like it here, I'm gonna stay. So it was always on the phone, right? And she said, come to visit me. Even for a few weeks, just come and see. And I'm like, okay, where is Dominican Republic? I don't know, but let me go.
I was the same going to Malta. I had no idea where Malta is when I first went. That's the funniest part of moving abroad. Let me go a little bit backwards. I wanted to ask you about your childhood in Russia and how did you think about America as a child? Did you see American movies? Did you ever have the desire to go to the US?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, back then, 90s in Russia, it was very tough, very limited in everything, in food, in clothes, in electronics, right? There was not much things, and it was a lot of crime. There's a lot of violence and a lot of scary things happening. And me seeing it as a child, of course, I didn't like it. Some people say, "Oh, I was growing. This was normal for me. This was okay." For me, it never was okay. I always felt like I don't want this in my life. I don't like it. Does not feel right. So,
is it still the same, or did it change?
Since it's been a very long time since I moved from there, I'm not sure. I hope it's changed, but probably that part of Russia is same. Last time I went 2019 and it's nothing changed there. So, but definitely since 90s and now, of course, there is some change in this part of violence and crime and things like this, because it was like, you was opening the business, right? Want to make money to provide for your family, but someone come to you and say you have to pay us, right?
Blackmailing.
Yes. So now I'm not sure if I think it's in a big scale now.
Mafia.
Yes. But before it was like everywhere, right? Around every corner.
I think it was the same in Slovakia, actually. We didn't really know about it that much, but now when the documentaries are out about mafia and all the stuff that was in the 90s as well in Slovakia, my mom always keeps telling me, she's horrified, like in what times we lived back then, because now everything comes to surface, how it worked back then. It was very similar, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, you decided to go from Spain. Did you speak English back then?
Very little English.
So how did you go around Spain and Dominican?
Well, first of all, when I was going to Spain, I had this how we call it, translator, right? In a book. Of course, there's no Google. Now we can do it all from phone. No, before it was a book. So going to the Spain, I was learning. And during these 3 days of traveling from Moscow to Spain, I was learning my Spanish. I was like, hola, okay, and this is hi. So I had to know at least a few words. When I arrived to Spain, I actually had a teacher. She was coming to me, and she speaks no English, she speaks no Russian, just Spanish, right? And my Spanish was a few words. So that's how I started to learn, right? I said, I have to learn. If I'm here now, I have to learn. And I had interest. I loved how it sounded. I always was looking how Spanish people talking, and I'm like, wow, this is an interesting language. I want to learn it.
It's beautiful. I love it too.
Yeah, because with English, what's happened to me, in schools, right, in Russia, English, they was presenting it as something very difficult. A lot of rules, grammar, pronunciation. The teachers who was teaching us, they never had an actual conversation with no one in English. So how they could know how to teach us,
Same. In Slovakia, same. I was learning English for 17 years, and after I left school, I realized I'd never been in an English-speaking country, and all my previous teachers were actually Slovaks. So you can only learn once you go. You cannot learn from Slovaks speaking English.
Yes.
Very good English.
Yes. So my journey started with Spanish, right?
Okay.
because English, I had this idea, oh, it's so difficult. No, it's not for me. It's too difficult. So after that, I went to Dominican Republic. I was thinking maybe a few weeks it's gonna be nice, to explore something new. It was 9 hours flight from Madrid to Dominican Republic. I realized, wow, it's somewhere very far. So my first night, I remember when I arrived to Santo Domingo, the capital of Dominican Republic, I was so feeling so much happiness and joy in the air, the people so happy, even more than in Spain. Everybody's smiling, everybody is so open, friendly. The climate, I felt so good, I felt so warm, the beauty around it. My first night, I remember I said, wow, I want to live here. And from there, I spent 3 years in Dominican Republic.
What were you doing there?
We opened a real estate company with my aunt.
Nice.
Because that time, it was 2009, after the big crisis, a lot of Russians, they realized that they can go to Dominican Republic, to this beautiful island in Caribbean, and they can invest into properties and get the residence.
Okay.
So, and it's cheap, right? It's not so expensive, and they live in paradise, and they have the investment there. So they start to come a lot.
Interesting.
There was no visa requirements. You don't need to... I'm not sure how it's now, but back then you didn't need to have a visa to go there. So it was convenient for us, right, to work with in real estate. And also I start to do more art there. I start to paint. I start to create some clothes.
Okay.
So I really open up my talents there. And it was very, very nice. After 4 months in Spain, I was able already to communicate. I was able to explain simple things, right? If I need to go to bathroom, restroom, or I want to eat, right? Or anything like that. But the thing is that Spanish and Dominican Spanish is different.
For sure.
Yes. For example, in Spain, right? They talk very polite, very nice, very beautiful. ¿Cómo estás? And Dominican Republic, they cut the words. They say ¿Cómo tú estás?
Yeah. There's so many different versions of Spanish, especially in like South American Spanish and then Caribbean Spanish. I noticed that as well when I moved to Miami. After a certain time spending with people from different countries, Spanish-speaking countries, I realized that I'm already distinguishing who is from where just based on their Spanish, which I felt like it's an accomplishment to be able to recognize that. Okay, so let's move forward. What did happen after those 3 years?
After those 3 years. First year was amazing, right? I'm still enjoying the sun and the palms and all the happy people. But after a while, I realized, every day is the same, right? Every day is kind of, there is no evolution, there is no growth.
And you don't like stereotype.
Yes, and also to do a business with Dominican people in Dominican Republic, it's not easy because they don't have this drive.
Okay.
They don't have this like let's accomplish more and let's do more and let's do more. They're very slow. They're very calm.
Chill.
They're very chill. Tomorrow, come tomorrow. Or they say 5 minutes and it can take 2 hours. It's very, very
laid back,
challenging when you wanna do something quick and open your. It took us 8 months to open the office.
Okay.
So, and for us, for Russians, right? Because we are kind of quick, we do the business, we do the things, right? It's totally different culture. It was challenging. So after a while, I start to realize, actually on my childhood dream, because as a child I wanted to go to United States, because America, it was something like, some example of the country that very advanced, right? That American dream, right? Those movies from here, those nice clothes from here, right? It was very, very like advanced, and it was something that I wanted to visit always. Disneyland, right? All these things, and
it's futuristic.
Yes,
That's how I feel when I go back to Europe. I feel like I'm traveling back in time, and then when I'm going back to the US, I feel like I'm going to Futurama, like that show. Everything suddenly seems like 20 years ahead or even more.
Yeah,
I feel you on that.
Yeah. So I was in Dominican Republic, right? Getting tired from it, even though it's so beautiful, gorgeous, and being so close to United States. Of course, I was thinking maybe it's time to start to plan moving here. But first I wanted to just come and visit, right? To see how I'm gonna feel. And by the way, on Facebook, I met a Dominican guy. He was here in Miami living, and we was chatting with him while I was living in Dominican Republic. We was just talking. I was asking how is United States, how's Miami. So he was telling me a lot of things. He was born in New York, even though his parents Dominicans, but he born in New York. Then some time he spent in Dominican Republic. Then he came back and moved to Miami. So I had already someone with whom I had those conversations about Miami and what can I do there, right? And the prices, like if I want to buy a car there, how much it's gonna be. And I was slowly planning my move.
So how did that happen then, in the end?
In 2012, was it? Yes. My mother and my grandma, they came to visit us in Dominican Republic. I already opened visa by that time, American visa.
What type of visa did you have?
I had a tourist visa.
Okay, which is B1, B2?
I think it was B1, yeah. I was a resident in Dominican Republic.
Oh, you became resident because of your business?
Yes, because of the company. And
did it make it easier for you to get tourist visa as a resident of Dominican Republic, or it doesn't matter?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I came to consul in Santo Domingo, I showed, right, that I have a company here, I'm living here, I'm a resident of Dominican Republic, and I want to go and visit. And they opened me very easy, very quickly. They was like, oh, sure, go explore it. You deserve it. It was very easy. Yeah. So my mother and my grandma came to visit me in Dominican Republic, and my mother died there. It was a very challenging experience for me. And she was living in South Korea. I had to fly to South Korea to fix all her things, to meet with her ex-husband. So it was the darkest time of my life. I was very depressed. I lost myself completely. I was in very destructive patterns. But when her friend saw me in that state, in state of disaster, she said, okay, let me take you to the church. So in South Korea, I went to the church. I started to read Bible. I started to connect to God. I started to realize there is something higher than myself, and I'm not just this physical appearance, right? What I see in the mirror, I'm bigger. And actually, Jesus Christ, he came to this planet. He showed us the way of compassion, acceptance, forgiveness, love, and all these beautiful virtues, beautiful universal rules, I call them, right? Something that help us to open up all the beauty that we're carrying within us. So it's helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. And from South Korea, I already knew that I don't want to come back to Dominican Republic. I want to go to United States. And in 2012, October, I came here.
Okay, so you came as a tourist. You had a visa for 6 months.
Yes.
And you met with your friend?
So yes, I had a visa, tourist visa. I wanted to do the student visa. So I was thinking, okay, maybe when I come, I change my status to a student visa. But the guy with whom I was talking on Facebook, he was like, let's meet finally. We've been chatting for 2 years on Facebook. Let's meet in person. So after, I think around 2 months, after 2 months in Miami already, I met with him. And it was very beautiful because I felt like, wow, we knew each other for many lives, you know, these connections when you feel like you just met the person, even though we've been talking for a few years, but it's online, right? It's different. When I met him, I thought like, wow, I feel so comfortable around this person. So after 2 months, I moved with him.
Nice.
After another 2 months, I got pregnant. Another 2 months, we got married.
Wow. So it was a love at first sight almost.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so you basically got your green card through this marriage. Can you describe how was the process?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, 12 years ago. But yes, I still remember. So we went to the court, right? We made an appointment to become married. We got married. I was already pregnant. It was quick. The process was very quick. And after that, we just went to have some dinner.
Okay.
So for me, it was very... I was expecting something different, but it was very, calm, peaceful, fast process of the marriage ceremony.
Did you take care of your application process right away, or have you been waiting?
We actually started right away. And my ex-husband, his sister, she knew how to apply. She helped us with the process to fill the forms and everything. So it was not difficult for me. I had a great help.
Do you remember what documents did you have to provide? I know that you have to show proofs that your marriage is real, right? So you need to show that you live together, maybe some bills together. What else is there? Pictures, phone bill, electricity bill, bank accounts together, right?
Yes, all those things. We had a joint bank account, the lease, the apartment we was renting. I was in the lease with him. Also pictures, a lot of pictures of us together. What else?
You were expecting a baby, so I guess
Yeah, I was pregnant.
That's a great proof of love, right?
I was still very nervous for the interview, even though I was pregnant. But the interview came after I gave the birth.
So how long did you have to wait for the interview?
So in July 5th, we got married. After that, we sent the forms. And I was already, how many months? Like 3 months, 4 months? And the interview came when my son was 6 months old.
Oh, so you've been waiting almost a year.
Yeah. And I was going with my baby to the interview, and I was nervous.
Oh, wow. Well, I believe everybody is nervous.
Yeah.
At least what I heard from the stories, because you never know what the outcome might be. How was the interview? Did it go smooth, or did were they suspicious about this marriage?